Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Break Vape podcast. I am your host, Tami Ernst. I am a life coach and a former vapor. I offer coaching services on vaping, stress, mindset, and goals. So, how is everyone today? If you are listening in real time, how's your November going? Mine's going good, but today is dreary and cold and rainy in Houston, Texas, so it is nice to be in my cozy little podcast studio making this episode for you today. I've been chatting with many of you guys via email and on socials, and this morning a listener from the UK who is struggling to quit vaping sent me a message saying that he had tried to quit yesterday and made it until midday before he gave up. So I wrote back and I asked him if he had a quit plan, and he said no. And I'm like, well, of course quitting didn't work this time because you didn't have a quit plan. In other words, he did not decide ahead of time how he was going to handle quitting. You guys, the way that we quit vaping for good is to stick to our decision and to change the way that we think about anxiety and addiction. And one of the tools on this journey is to create a quit plan. Now, step number 1 to quitting is to just get very curious about vaping in the first place. For instance, is there anything good about it? Well, we all know that the answer to that is no, but also think, okay, then why is it bad? And really think about it. One of the ways to get curious is to listen to the first few episodes of this podcast where we talk about vaping, being a carefully curated billion-dollar addiction, how it's not your fault that you vape, and then in episodes 2 and 3 we talk about deadly vaping associated diseases like popcorn lung and EVALI. So you want to get so curious that you go and you actually start doing some of your own research about vaping. I have someone near and dear to me in my life who struggled all of his teen and adult life with drug addiction. And when I asked him, how on earth did you quit methamphetamine without going to rehab? He told me that every time he felt the urge to use, he would go onto YouTube and watch videos of meth heads doing crazy things. This is so important because he took the initiative to educate himself and to use his beautiful brain to cure his drug addiction. Well, as vapors, we are straight up addicted to nicotine, and it would benefit all of us to get extremely curious about vaping and about quitting. So on my quitting journey a while back, I created a quit plan system that I will go over with you all. I use it, my clients use it, and I hope that you use it as well. So like we just discussed, you are going to need to get very curious about vaping and research for yourself how bad it is before you actually initiate your quit plan. So watch YouTube, read articles, talk to doctors, calculate how much you spend on vape gear, etc., etc. Let all of that information guide you to be absolutely disgusted with vaping and ready to draw your line in the sand, plant your flag, and decide that you are going to quit. So what do these steps look like? There are 7 steps. And step number 1 is to make a firm decision to stop vaping and set your intentions for quitting. My intention for quitting became my mantra, and it is simply that I do not hurt my body. So think of your intention and make sure to physically write it down. Step 2, find your crutches if you need them. Many of us either do not want to quit cold turkey or we don't think that we can. Personally, I used nicotine patches when I was quitting and wound up cutting them into smaller portions until I found them annoying and useless, and then I knew that I didn't need that crutch anymore. I also tried the gum, guys, but it made me nauseous. So there are patches, gum, pouches, lozenges. There's actually nicotine-free all-natural drinks. There's a ton of stuff out there that you can use as a crutch. I am not a big proponent of trading one bad habit for another, so just understand that these crutches, they're not permanent. They are just less harmful than vaping, and we want to fix the vaping first, right? The thing that is the most dangerous, the most deadly, we want to get that fixed first, and then we can wean off of the other things. So other things to substitute are to find a food or a snack flavor that reminds you of vaping. For example, if you use strawberry flavored vaping juice, then find a gum or a candy that tastes similar, or maybe snack on fresh or dried strawberries. This might help you overcome missing out on the vaping ritual. And lastly, find a coach like myself or someone else that you know, or go to YouTube to pick out which breathing, meditation, and even yoga tactics will help you the best, because we as vapers and smokers love this inhaling method that we do, this exercise, right, where we have this kind of like hand mouth obsession, or we're used to inhaling something, and we should not be inhaling anything other just than oxygen. So one of my favorite crutches actually is a oxygen tank, not like a big one. It's like a little tiny handheld oxygen aerosol thing that you can kind of find in places where people go skiing and stuff like that. They're used for high altitude. And it's just oxygen, and you just kind of spray it in your mouth whenever you feel the urge to vape, and there you go. You feel the urge, you let it pass, you give yourself some oxygen, and you're good for a while, and then the urge comes up, and then you do it again. Okay, I digress. Anyway, step number 3, ask for help by admitting that you have an addiction and finding a friend, a family member, or professional help. I know a lot of you guys that listen to this are kind of scared to ask for help because you are facing a peer situation where you just don't really have anybody to talk to. So maybe that looks like you're a mom who is a secret vapor, or maybe you're a teenager who doesn't know who to talk to. So if that's the case, try to send an email to hello@breakvapes.com, and I will personally help you. Or you can always go on social media. I'm part of tons of groups on Facebook and Instagram where they do have support groups. So those are really, really helpful, guys. Make sure you join support groups, and not just join them, but be active in the community. As much as you check your phone and your socials, make sure that you include those new support groups into every single time that you're checking. That way you stay energized and you stay a part of it. Okay, step number 4. Make a list of your reasons for quitting. So how do we make a list of why we want to quit? Think about everything that annoys you about vaping. Some quick examples that I see all the time are to find a better way to deal with anxiety, to avoid lung disease, to be a good role model for kids, to quit breaking laws, to sleep better, to have better skin, to protect the environment, to quit wasting money, and to have better relationships with people in their lives that just want them to quit, etc., etc. The list goes on. So find your reasons for quitting and write them down, because you will need them listed out in a written form for an exercise later on in your quitting journey. Okay, step number 5. Know that even just one puff from a vape is too much, and memorize the acronym NOPE. NOPE. That stands for not one puff ever. When we are in a place in our vaping journey where we have quit enough to where we're not slipping and vaping every once in a while, NOPE is going to be a very, very awesome tool for you to use in your quitting journey. Okay, step number 6, find and get rid of all of your vape gear. I used to leave it laying around, and it would get me every time. I kid you not. I thought that I had thrown out all the vapes that I had in my car and laying around my house, and then I would kind of find one randomly and just be like, oh, like puffing on it one time is not really a big deal. And then I would go and put it under a sink and run water over it and break it, and then throw it away for good. But I think I did that like 4 or 5 times because I would just find them randomly. So save yourself some drama by like beating yourself up, by going ahead and looking everywhere you can think where you might have stashed some vapes, or you have access to some vapes. Cut yourself off from that access. And number 7, you're going to want to start weaning off nicotine. So this is part of your quit plan, because at the end of the quit plan, step number 7, you're actually going to begin on your quit plan. And the first step of that is to start weaning off. So let's say you are going to go to the store and be gone for an hour and come right back. So maybe this time you leave your vape at home, you make sure you don't have any in your car, and you just get through 1 hour. And then we start increasing that time. And we go little by little until we're able to implement our entire quit plan. So guys, we definitely need a plan. I'm sure there are people out there, and God bless you if you were able to quit without a plan. More power to you. But for most of us humans, we just really need to set our intention and plan ahead of time for all the situations that are going to arise when we are so challenged, and let our brain take over to just go back to what is natural to us, which is, for most of us, been vaping for a very long time. So we are going to go ahead and make our quit plans, and if you would like help creating your quit plan, I would love to help you. Also, if you would like coaching, please send an email to hello@breakvapes.com. That's hello@breakvapes with an S. And guess what, guys? Next week is Thanksgiving, so I hope that everybody has a safe and fun holiday, and I will see you guys back here next week. Thank you. See you later.